My name is Luna Coyle. I am partnered with the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights for my senior capstone in social justice. CHIRLA is located east of Marlborough on 3rd Street, right outside of Koreatown towards Echo Park. Targeting new arrivals seeking documentation, housing, legal, or welfare services, CHIRLA's mission is to achieve a just society fully inclusive of immigrants. Each year, CHIRLA serves roughly 250,000 individuals. Not only does CHIRLA serve by facilitating work, education, and mental health referrals, but also working legislatively by passing bills like the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, disaster relief assistance for immigrants, DRAI, and lawsuits like the current one against the Department of Homeland Security. To go a little bit more in depth, DACA is a federal immigration policy introduced in 2012 that protects eligible undocumented young people who came to the U.S. as children from deportation. While DACA does not provide a path to permanent legal status, it grants recipients temporary protection from removal and eligibility for work permits, allowing them to contribute to society while living without fear of immediate deportation. DRAI, or Disaster Relief Assistance for Immigrants, is a state-level program, particularly in California, which provides emergency relief funds to undocumented immigrants who are ineligible for federal aid due to their immigration status. This was especially vital during the COVID-19 pandemic, where many immigrants were essential workers but received no federal support. The lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security versus CHIRLA challenges a rule by the Trump administration which requires millions of people to register with the federal government and carry proof of their registration with them at all times, or risk federal criminal persecution. Since sophomore year, I knew I wanted to be involved in immigrant equity due to my grandparents' immigration experience to the U.S. from communist China in the early 60s. Leaving behind their families to start new ones 7,000 miles away, my grandparents weren't given immediate aid to their transition or to help establish stability. Instead, they had to advocate for themselves while juggling undergraduate school. Unlike many others, my popoa and gungung had family members in America already, providing a support system and safety net amidst exploring new job opportunities. At Marlborough, I first pursued this passion by creating Project Angelinos, a club providing uncensored and easy-to-understand information regarding the naturalization process, the socio-political climate today, and ways to support current asylum seekers. We partnered with Para los Niños in downtown LA, providing tutoring, mentorship, and bonding through sports on school days and weekends. At the same time, we worked to educate the Marlborough community about immigration policy, dispelling common myths about the immigration process. I wanted to further my knowledge and connection to the immigrant rights movement by approaching Miss Wright and choosing a senior capstone partner. What led me to CHIRLA was their focus on the voices of immigrants themselves, using community storytelling and grassroots organizing to influence policy and shift public narratives. Beginning in September, I have gone into their 3rd Street offices at least once a week for 3 to 4 hours a time. Whenever held, I volunteered at events ranging from fire relief pop-ups to membership celebrations. At the first event, the Tardeada, or an all-staff and member fundraiser, I saw that more than half of the members solely spoke Spanish. The other volunteers were able to communicate with them and cater to customers' preferences regarding drinks or food. I found myself limited with my ability to communicate with a large percentage of the people that came through. At that point, learning and being surrounded by Spanish became a motivator to continue my partnership rather than something that distanced me from the coalition. I worked within Community Education and Outreach Department, also known as ComEd, which manages the Immigrant Assistance Line, filtering ICE sightings, consultation requests, and civic commotion about anti-immigration sentiment. Their most recent project is the Los Angeles Rapid Response Network, which utilizes the Immigrant Assistance Line by collecting ICE-related hot tips from citizens themselves. The data is then verified and posted online for easy access to the public. Lastly, the ComEd department hosts workshops on financial literacy, know your rights, and DACA updates, requiring me to get familiar with commercial printer uses and make hundreds of informational packages. This is where I had my first moment of hesitation. Working alongside seasoned department leads, lawyers, and players in the immigrants' rights movement, initially intimidated me, but as I volunteered more often, learned more names, and had more break room conversations with my coworkers, I got more comfortable with my surroundings. From being the newbie who jammed the printer to being Luna, the student intern, occasionally mistaken for a college student, my professional and social skills were pushed and broadened, priming me to become a part of CHIRLA's community. For my capstone, I assist the Community Education and Organization Department by organizing and digitalizing their intake forms, which are completed in person and sent off to the legal and humanitarian departments to begin an individual's naturalization process if it is applicable. At CHIRLA, a digital divide exists between clients seeking services and the evolving digital norms of today's world. While in theory it is convenient for CHIRLA to take consultations over the phone, many individuals seeking aid do not have the access or the digital literacy to request assistance online. This is why storing and collecting that physical data is vital, not only to the ComEd department, but for the rest of the system that operates on intake form collection. My capstone project supports immigrants, primarily undocumented individuals and mixed-status families, by ensuring that their initial point of contact with CHIRLA is accurately documented, preserved, and transitioned into a system that enables them to receive legal, humanitarian, and educational services. By streamlining and digitalizing these intake forms, I help make the process more efficient and reduce the chances of delays or data loss, ultimately increasing access to critical resources for a population that already faces systematic barriers. Additionally, I assisted the LA Rapid Response Network for a couple months during its pilot season, but as the project progressed seriously, I had to step away due to confidentiality restrictions. However, when I was working the line, sifting through voicemails on the weekends, I learned that CHIRLA's multimodal work is connected by an emotional baggage, a reminder of the struggle and inequity immigrants face when trying to seek asylum, protect their family, or establish a new life. Each call carries a story, a life, and an opportunity for change. While some messages come from average civilians looking to voice their opinion on immigration aid or ICE sightings, most calls are from individuals seeking change for themselves, family, and friends. Calling the hotline shows bravery like no other because of the uncertainty of the aid that CHIRLA is able to offer. However, as I've seen, the immigration assistance hotline workers always provide referrals, shelter recommendations, and other programs even if legal aid can't be bestowed. Through this work, my project furthers CHIRLA's mission by reinforcing its commitment to justice, inclusion, and accessibility for immigrant communities. It ensures that those who may be overlooked in a digitalized system due to language, literacy, or technological barriers are still seen, heard, and given the tools to navigate a complex immigration process. My project is sustainable because it addresses a foundational process, intake documentation, that will continue to be essential as CHIRLA serves new clients. By organizing and digitalizing these forms, I'm creating a system that future staff and volunteers can easily access and build upon. First, I created new covers with the dates included and type of intake, either pro se or humanitarian. Then I removed plastic sheets and instead hole punched the papers to reduce waste and create more space for more intakes. I scan each of the papers and file them in an online location, organized by month, year, and color coordination, of course. This reduces redundancy, improves efficiency, and ensures that important client information is preserved and ready for use across departments. Additionally, the work creates a model for how to bridge the gap between analog and digital systems in a way that respects the needs of the community. Since the referrals must be completed in person, creating online access to these files allows employees across all departments to view and share. While scanning, hole punching, and repeating can get redundant, familiarizing myself with the ground-up system that undocumented individuals rely on has given me a heightened appreciation for the work done behind the scenes, including the IT employees fixing an overworked printer, the collaboration between community education, humanitarian, legal departments, and the frequent updating of referral partners across California. I started off my journey by communicating with Monse, a student acting as an interim UCLA student acting as an interim volunteer coordinator. After meeting her at the Tardiata, or annual membership drive, she extended the opportunity to speak with department heads to find my place within CHIRLA. She connected me with Elizabeth Rodriguez, the Immigrant Assistance Line Supervisor and ComEd Department Manager. Elizabeth and I began to have conversations about possible capstone projects. Despite having a definitive agenda for me to take on in the early stages of our partnership, she understood my drive to problem solve and always assigned me work, giving me the place of my own within the office that had limited space. From there, I met Esme Morales and Mindy Hernandez, ComEd staff, and my work besties. Whenever I had a question or concern, they paused their work and made sure I had full understanding of the purpose of their work and how to do it right. They created an open and safe environment for me in their perfectly curated office, always treating me as an equal and a friend. Each day I came in and was welcomed by Cynthia and Lillian, two front desk staff that greeted me with a smile no matter what the day's circumstances held. Additionally, individuals like Pedro and Anabea, directors of organizing and membership and member services departments, respectively, offered me opportunities to learn about CHIRLA's different facets. They empowered me to take my lessons learned in the office to the real world, such as volunteering at the fire aid relief event at the St. Elizabeth of Hungary Catholic Church, working with FEMA and other networks to provide domestic workers disadvantaged by the Eaton fires the resources that they need. Lastly, I would like to recognize Angelica Salas, Executive Director of CHIRLA since 1999, for cultivating such a team and environment that allows for students like me to grow and learn in a way that could not be replicated in a classroom. Meeting with her in March has taught me this movement is not static nor ceasing anytime soon. Instead, it is growing, challenging standards, policies, and ideologies that restrict basic human rights for all individuals in America. Using CHIRLA's core principles, Angelica taught me that by dissecting the law, striving for excellence, and organizing laborers, students, and immigrants themselves, we can demystify who belongs in the American household from the ground up. One of the most impactful quotes that she told to me was, "To be an American is to always be fighting for that sense of belonging." Her words grounded my involvement as a student, encapsulating the idea that being American is not a fixed identity, but a continuous effort to learn, engage, and fight for inclusion. One of my greatest takeaways is understanding the importance of meeting people where they are, not where systems expect them to be. Working with CHIRLA taught me that real change often starts in the margins, through the small, tedious, behind-the-scenes tasks that make the bigger picture possible. I learned how something as simple as an intake form holds power. It's the beginning of someone's journey towards stability, safety, and recognition. More than anything, I've learned that advocacy isn't only about policy or protest. It's about the care and consistency that keeps the system running for those who need it most. Lastly, I would like to give the most gratitude to Miss Wright for facilitating this partnership and always empowering me to do what I never thought I could. Thank you so much for listening.